शुक्र खुदा में रज़वी हो।
अहमद रज़ा शम्आ फ़रोज़ा है आज भी, खुर्शीद इल्म उनका दरख्शां है आज भी। सब उनसे जलने वालों की गुल हो गए चिराग, सब उनसे जलने वालों के गुल हो गए चिराग। अहमद रज़ा के शम्आ फ़रोज़ा है आज भी, अहमद रज़ा के शम्आ फ़रोज़ा है आज भी। We are in the month of Safar, many Mubarak days in this month, but we remember it more for the month of Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat radiyallahu ta'ala, Imam Ahle Sunnat. What does the Shaykh, the poet says very beautifully? He says, Ala Hadrat Shan is this, and this is the Shan of the awliya. This Shan it is, कि बादे विसाल इश्क नबी कम नहीं हुआ. बादे विसाल, even after passing away, his इश्क नबी didn't become less. बादे विसाल इश्क नबी कम नहीं हुआ, रूह रज़ा हुजूर पे कुर्बान है आज भी, रूह रज़ा हुजूर पे कुर्बान है आज भी। आला हजरत अदीमुल बरकत इमाम अहले सुन्नत मुजद्दिदे दीन व मिल्लत परवाना इशाम रिसालत अशाह इमाम अहमद रज़ा खान फाजिल बरेलवी रदियल्लाहु अन्हु's life, his every breath, every qadam that he took, everything that he did was in ishq Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Everything was in the ishq of Rasul Pak sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His standing was ishq Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His sitting was ishq Rasul. His talking was ishq Rasul. Why? Because you could see that in his actions were manifested the sunnah of Rasulullah. You could see that the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam were manifested in his actions, in his daily life. And Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat, if we talk about him as a personality, you see, when you talk about Ala Hadrat radiallahu anhu, you talk about the awliya Allah, the pious servants of Allah, you try to figure out, okay, what do we talk about them? Which part of their life do we discuss? These are those people, these are those pious servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who, in simple terms, for understanding, they are fountains, they are huge fountains and lakes of ruhaniyat. They are huge fountains and lakes of ruhaniyat. And this ruhaniyat is such, this ruhaniyat is such that without it, a person's hal is like a person who has been given lovely, delicious, well set food. You know, if somebody prepares a nice biryani, Friday है ना, तो लोगों को बिरयानी दाल गोश्त की याद आती है. Nice biryani, nice dal gosht. Somebody prepares, you know, is really prepared it well. And not only prepared well, because it's definitely something nice, halal. Prepared well. But not only prepared, the presentation is excellent. Put it on a nice tray, nice clean dastarkhan, made it look very nice and presented it in front of you. And everybody is waiting for you to taste. You put it in your mouth and say, ye kya ho gaya hai? It was looking so nice. Presentation excellent. Something is not right. Kya hua? Says, isme namak nahi hai. Isme namak nahi hai. There is no salt. No matter how nice it looks, no matter how nice the presentation is, the best of food, khana mein namak na ho, to khane mein kya maza? How will you know the taste of it? Without comparison, all these beautiful blessings of the deen of Allah are there. They are beautiful by themselves. But the ruhaniyat is the salt. The ruhaniyat is the salt. If that is not there, you have everything, but you cannot taste what Ghaus-e Azam tasted. You will not taste at that level. But you will not taste even one zarra of that. You will not taste what Sultan al-Hind Khajagan, Khaja Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri Sanjari radiallahu anhu tasted. You will not be able to taste what they sat on broken mats and tasted. which you cannot taste on the warmness of your beds. What they got sitting on broken mats, what they got from eating dry bread, we cannot get from eating the best of food today. Do you know why? Because their maqsad was not the dunya. Their maqsad was attaining closeness in the court of Allah. And you know, to attain closeness in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you want to become close in the court of Allah, how do you become close? How does a banda achieve his manzila maqsood? This is your final destination physically is your grave in the dunya. But there is akhirat also. There is hashar also. There is accountability also. And then there are two paths. There are two pathways. One that leads to Jannatul Firdaus, and one that leads to the denizens of hell. One that leads to Jannatul Firdaus and one that leads to the denizens of hell. And I said this before, that the choices that you make now will impact not only on you and on me. The choices that we make now will not only impact on you and on myself, it will impact on our generations to come. It will impact on our generations to come. The choices that we make now may be the most important factor that differs whether my last nasl will go with Dajjal or will go with Imam Mahdi. It's very important to think about this. Why are you sitting in the masjid today? Why are you sitting in the masjid on today, Jummah? How many people don't want to go? They're scared. Theek Allah ka hukum hai. But why are you in the masjid today? Why do you sit in Mawlud today? Why do you sit in Yarwi Sharif? Why do you get maza to listen to somebody saying, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because of the choice that your father and your grandfather made. Don't forget them. Don't forget your forefathers. Yes, those who were not on that path before and got the guidance to come on the path, alhamdulillah. But don't forget your forefathers who put you on this path. Today we think we know it all. In reality, they knew it all. In reality, they knew it all. That is why today we're reading Mustafa Jane Rahmat Pe Lakho Salam. That's why today we're making Yarwi Sharif and Khatme Khajagan. That's why today we're making Khatme Gausiya. Do you know why? They may not have known as many books as you know, but they had one thing that was called Nisbat. They had something that they held very tight to them. Nisbat meant everything. The connection meant everything. They understood this, and this is what the awliya taught us. This is what the Sahaba taught us. People talk today, while I'm on the discussion, because we're talking about Ala Hadrat also. Hey? Ala Hadrat, you know, if you look at the history of Ala Hadrat, you will find how he nurtured those that were in his company. They went there as shrubs. They turned out to be gardens of roses. They went there as shrubs. They turned out to be gardens of roses. Burhanuddin Jabalpuri went with his father, Maulana Abdul Salam, to Bombay to meet Ala Hadrat as a young university student. And when he saw the face of Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat, and when Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat radiallahu anh nurtured him, then he became Khatimul Khulafa Burhan Millat radiallahu ta'ala. Zafruddin went into the court of Ala Hadrat radiallahu anh, and Ala Hadrat nurtured him. And do you know what he became? Malikul Ulama. Hadrat Zafruddin Bihari radiallahu anh. And Abdul Alim from Meerut. Abdul Alim from Meerut went at the feet of Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat radiallahu anh and said that whatever I have is Qurban on my Murshid Kamil. And Ala Hadrat nurtured him, and do you know what he became? The roving ambassador of Islam. Hadrat Allama Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui Mirti radiallahu ta'ala. Amjad Ali Azmi went into the court of Ala Hadrat radiallahu anhu. Hakim Abu Lola Amjad Ali, and became Sadru Sharia Badr Tariqat. What is this? What is this? This is Nisbat. This is Ruhaniyat. This is the salt that many do not understand. Kalmil fit ta'am. In Arabic we say kalmil fit ta'am, like salt in the food. How important it is. Nisbat, you want to know what is Nisbat? Ala Hadrat used to nurture those around him. Somebody asked Ala Hadrat once, It is also in Marfuz Sharif of Ala Hadrat radiallahu anhu, some explanation regarding this. What was Ala Hadrat asked? What is the difference between talab and ba'th? Today people become murid, it's become formality, fashion. Asal log murid ka maana tak nahi samajh pa rahe. I'll tell you just now what is a murid. Learn from the darbar of Ala Hazrat. Learn from the court of Ala Hadrat Adimul Barkat, Imam Ahl Sunnat radiallahu ta'ala an. Somebody asked Ala Hadrat, what is the difference between talab and what is the difference between ba'at? What is the difference? Ala Hadrat said that talib is one who seeks out blessings. The talib is one who is seeking out the blessing. He says, ba'at, to become murid का माना है कि अपने आप को बेच डालना, बिक जाना. To become murid means to sell yourself. To sell yourself. When a person sells himself, does he belong to himself? अपने मुर्शिद का हो जाता है. अपने मुर्शिद का हो जाता है. That is a murid. And Allah Hadrat explains, you want to know what is a murid? Allah Hadrat Adimul Barkat radiallahu anh explains, Subhanallah, do you want to know what is a murid? He said there was a murid of Hadrat Sayyidina Sharfuddin Ahmad Yahya Maniri radiallahu anh. Very great Imam. Hadrat Sayyidina Sharfuddin Ahmad Yahya Maniri radiallahu anh. One of the barakats of his name is, there's a wazifa, that if you write his name in Urdu or Arabic, your writing will become like calligraphy. औलिया अल्लाह तो औलिया उनके नाम में इतनी बरकत है, उनके नाम में इतनी बरकत है. People go to their murshid and say, I want taweez, Hazrat, I got this problem, I got that problem. Yes, Hazrat will write and give you taweez. But पहले ये समझो कि असल तावीज़ तो मुर्शिद है. My real taweez is my murshid. पहले मुर्शिद से हो जाओ. Become firm with the murshid. Have yaqeen in your murshid and your master. There was a person that went to Huzur Sadr Sharia. He was a ashik of Huzur Sadr Sharia. He went to Huzur Sadr Sharia radiallahu anh. Remind me, I'll come back to Hazrat Yahya Maniri now. He went to Huzur Sadr Sharia radiallahu anh, Badr Tariqa. अभी मुरीद की बात करते हैं, फिर मुर्शिद को समझो. First understand the murid, Sadr Sharia, then you will know something about Ala Hazrat. He went to Huzur Sadr Sharia. He was very ill. He had the flu. Continuous chronic flu, not coming right. He went to Sadr Sharia radiallahu anh. Said, Hazrat, I don't know what to do. This is happening all the time. So Sadr Sharia set him down. He was a very loyal to Huzur Sadr Sharia, this personality, and he was ashik. Yaqeen tha. He had yaqeen. Yaqeen is the big thing. To have true faith. So what he did, Huzur Sadr Sharia wrote him. Huzur Sadr Sharia was a very big hakim. Huzur Sadr Sharia will hold you, it will touch your nubs here, and he would have been able to tell you what you ate last night and how far it's gone down. समझ रहे? ऐसे हकीम थे हजरत सदर शरिया रज़ियल्लाहु. So the person went, Huzur Sadr Sharia so diagnosed him. Okay, this is his problem. And he took a piece of paper and he wrote the nuskha. He wrote the prescription. This, get this, this medicine, this herb, this jari booty, पूरा लिख दिया. और लिखने के बाद हुजूर सदर शरिया ने उनको थमा दिया. He said, पानी में खोल के इसको पी लेना. Okay? There's the prescription. Make sure you boil everything nicely in the water and then you drink it. He said, ठीक है, he went. After a few days he came back, बिल्कुल जबरदस्त टनाटन. First class, कोई बीमारी नहीं. Chronic बीमारी for years gone. Cattle finished. Huzur Sadr Sharia said, MashaAllah, you're looking well. He said, Hazrat, I'm perfect now. Now I'm first class. Huzur Sadr Sharia said, okay, give me that prescription which I had given you. So let me just see what I wrote that day and I'll just add one or two things for you to get a little bit energy and whatever else. He says, Huzur, how am I going to give you that? Sadr Sharia said, Matlab, did you lose it or something? He said, no. You said boil it and drink it. I boiled the prescription and I was drinking it every day. दवा ही नहीं खरीदा. आप सोचो यकीन किसे कहते हैं. सोचो कि मुरीद कामिल किसे कहते हैं. He took the paper and he was boiling it and drinking it. He never bought the medicine. He didn't realize it to buy medicine. गांव का आदमी था. हजरत ने लिख दिया तो इसी को अल्लाह ने उसमें उसको शिफा अता फरमा दिया. दिल साफ मंजिल आसान. This is nisbat. This is nisbat. Hazrat Sharfuddin Yahya Maniri. Hazrat Sayyidina Sharfuddin Ahmad Yahya Maniri, subhanallah. One of his murids was drowning. One of his murids was drowning in the sea, is drowning. Yaqeen, true Muslim, true believer, he was drowning. And when the banda is in musibat and he asks for help from the court of Allah, he gets help. Magar, heart. It's about the heart again. It's about the yaqeen. So, in that drowning state, he receives help from the court of Allah through one of Allah's beloved servants. Do you know who comes? Hazrat Sayyidina Khaja Khadir alayhi salam. Hazrat Sayyidina Khaja Khadir alayhi salam. Asal mein Khadir hai. We say Khadir, it's Khadir. Hazrat Sayyidina Khaja Khadir alayhi salam came. Hazrat Khadir alayhi salam came. And he stretched out his hand. He stretched out his hand to that person. That person was the murid of Sharfuddin Ahmad Yahya Maniri radiallahu anhu. Hazrat Sayyidina Khadir alayhi salam stretched out his hand. And he said, he is drowning. He said, give me your hand and let me take you out. Haath de do ki main bacha loon. Doob raha hai. He is drowning. The murid pulls his hand away. He said, ye haath to main Sharfuddin ko de chuka. He said, this hand, I've already given it to Sharfuddin, ab kisi aur ke haath mein nahi dunga. Allahu Akbar. You want to talk about Bai'at? You want to talk about Nisbat? This is being taught from the court of Allah Hadrat. Allah Hadrat ye samjha rahe. He says, I've already given my hand in the hand of Sharfuddin Yahya Maniri. Now I won't give my hand in the hand of anybody. Hazrat Sayyidina Khadir al-Islam by the hukum of Allah disappears. And Hazrat Sayyidina Sharfuddin Yahya Maniri comes and gives him his hand. Hazrat Sharfuddin Yahya Maniri comes and gives him his hand and take him out. Why? पहले ये दिखाया जा रहा है कि एक के तो बनो. You know what is today? People talk about fana and baqa. They don't even understand the first meaning of the fa of fana and the ba of the baqa. 5 वक्त की नमाज पढ़ते नहीं और कहते कि I'm in fana. You are becoming fana, not in fana. You're becoming fana, you are destroying yourself. If you want to destroy yourself, if you want to destroy yourself in the physical sense and attain the spiritual sense, then what do you have to do? मिटा दो अपने हस्ती को अगर कुछ मर्तबा चाहे. मिटा दो अपने हस्ती को अगर कुछ मर्तबा चाहे कि दाना खाक में मिलकर गुले गुलजार होता है. You want to become something? Humble yourself, because a seedling rots in the ground and becomes a rose. This is what Allah Hazrat's Darbar taught. This is what the awliya Allah taught us about nisbat. The pious servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu Akbar. Even that is why it is so important to understand. People are saying, Maulana, you know, my friend or my cousin, he became murid of that one fella, Bad Mazhab fella. Bad Mazhab, Deobandi, Wahabi, jo bhi hai, became murid of him. I said, Subhanallah. Murid ya na murad? How can a person become murid of a Bad Mazhab? सबसे पहले they believe is get ma'adallah, it is in their kitabs कि नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम मर के मिट्टी में मिल गए. For Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what they going to say about the awliya? That the Nabi has died and ma'adallah gone and mixed in the sand. And yet the hadith is saying, Inna Allah harrama al-ardi an ta'kula ajsad al-anbiya. Allah has made it haram upon the earth that it may eat the bodies of the anbiya. Which is afzal? The mitti or the Nabi? No doubt the Nabi is afzal. There is nothing more afzal than the Nabi. How can the sand eat the Nabi when the sand is created through the sadaqah of the Nabi? How is it possible? भाई अकल की बात है, हैं? ये भी बात है, अकल हो, हैं? खुदा जब दीन लेता है तो अकल छीन लेता है. When Allah wants to take somebody's deen away, He takes the intellectual capacity away. कि अकलमंद हो के भी जो है बेवकूफ. हाँ, think about it. How can somebody become, say, I became murid of a Bad Mazhab or a deviant or a sympathizer of a deviant? It's not possible, because To be a murid, one of the conditions, there are 4 conditions, very quickly. What's the 4 conditions of a murshid? People become pir. Why they became Hazrat? Because I like it. I saw him, Maulana, he sits there with a tasbih, got over 500 beats. He's spinning the tasbih from morning to evening, Maulana. You saw him reading namaz. No, he reads in the Kaaba. Yeah, what is this? भाई नमाज काबा में पढ़ते हैं, रोजा काबे में रखते हैं, बिरयानी प्लेट पे खाते हैं. What is this? Don't make a mockery of the deen of Allah. And do not allow it to be made. We mustn't allow it. यही लोग हैं जो मुसलमानों को बदनाम करते हैं. When you look for a sheikh, you must look for the 4 conditions of a sheikh. A Kaamil sheikh. You know what is the first condition? What is the first condition? Not what color clothes he's wearing. Not where he came from. Sunni Sahihul Aqidah. When look what Allah wrote. He wrote the word. Some people today don't know what is the meaning of Sahihul Aqidah. Go and see the words that Allah wrote. Sunni Sahihul Aqidah. Number 1, proper Sunni Sahihul Aqidah. First condition. Second condition, he must have so much of knowledge, at least minimum requirement, that he can derive and resolve his own daily life issues of deen by himself from the book without the help of somebody else. That's the second condition. Third condition, that his silsila must be uninterrupted up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fourth condition, he mustn't be a fasiq mu'lid. He mustn't be an open transgressor, gunahdar. But if the person is not Sunni Sahihul Aqidah, bekar. If he's got no ilm himself to take out his own daily masail, how to about his namaz and roza, where is he going to guide you? If his chain is broken towards Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to what chain is he joining you to? Now this is where the point comes that you can't become a murid of a bad mazhab. One, because he's not Sunni Sahihul Aqidah. Another important reason is, they believe that the awliya, after they leave this dunya, the pious servants after they leave the dunya, they can't do anything. They can't benefit you. So according to them, the chain is broken. So how are they joining you to a chain that they regard broken? How are they joining you to a chain that they regard broken? We regard our chain qaim. We regard our chain qaim, right to Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whether you are silsila chisht, bahisht, whether you are silsila qadriya, whether you are barakatiya, whether you are razviya, whether you are nuriya, whether you are amjadiya, whether you are saharwardiya, whether you are naqshbandiya, whether you are ashrafiya. Any salasil of the Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat, ये सब एक समंदर के जो है नहरें हैं. They are all rivers of the great sea. You have to understand this. But the condition is, even if the shaykh says, I'm from that silsila, he must have the condition, the silsila is not enough. Must have the conditions. Why? And one cannot be missing. Charo ka hona zaruri. Why? Because he is your shaykh, because Allah wants, is the will of Allah to guide everybody. But if we choose misguidance, तो फिर क्या होगा? But the shaykh is there to guide you closer to Allah. अब जब shaykh सुन्नी सहीहुल अकीदा नहीं, how will guide you? बे-ilm है, what Junaid Baghdadi said, a बे-ilm Sufi is the toy of shaitan. He diverts him in whichever direction he wants, he turns him. Understand? And that person who's fasting, he knows a fasting, that person who openly makes guna. So that person who makes guna and enjoys guna, he's going to take you towards rahmat or he's going to take you towards azab. And obviously the person whose chain is not to Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, wo kisi ka nahi. So we have to look at all these things, and this is what Allah Hazrat taught. This is what is called maslak-e Allah Hazrat. This is called the way and the teaching of Allah Hazrat. This is Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat. This is the way of Ghaus-e Azam radiyallahu anh. This is the way of Sarkar-e Khwaja Pak. This is the way of Hazrat Baba Fadluddin Ganj Shakkar radiyallahu anh. This is the way of Hazrat Sayyidina Makhdum Samna radiyallahu ta'ala anh. This is the way of the pious. So think about this. It is the month of the pious. Allah Hazrat's urus, later of other Mashaykh's urus. The important thing, what I started off with, don't forget what our parents did, our forefathers did for us. They gave us this nisbat. Hold firm to that nisbat. The nisbat will save you. Pious nisbat. Yes, if somebody connected you to one garbar bus and then chhod do. It was their mistake to chhod do. Doesn't mean because now बाप ने अल्लाह ना करे बाप ने किसी अपने बेटे के हाथ जाके डाकू के हाथ में दे दिया बेटा यही ठीक है अब बेटा कहता मेरे बाप ने मुझे डाकू के पास छोड़ा मैं तो जिंदगी भर डाकू ही रहूंगा नहीं that's अब उसमें अकल की जरूरत है. We have to make decisions at times. But if you are put in the right hand, why do you want to leave? If you are put in a place where you walk towards the house of Allah, why do you want to leave? Think about this. This is what Allah Hadrat taught. This is what the pious servants of Allah taught. And always remember, especially in these times, Zindagi 2 din ki hai. Life is only 2 days. Yesterday and today. Some say tomorrow, I don't say tomorrow. Yesterday and today, for today may never end. Today may never end for you. So think about this. Whenever you do anything in life, whenever you make decision, whenever you do anything, think that my action has a reaction not only to me, it has to everybody. And I'm going to end with saying something. Some may not like what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it anyway. People come to me nowadays and they say, Maulana, I don't know why this child is, my son is very badly behaved. Always getting sick, but very musty. Don't listen. Okay, children are meant to be like this. Bacche naughty to karte hai. But some are out of control. I don't know what to do. Say, what's your son's name? Mana Amir Khan. अब मुझे नहीं मालूम था कि वो क्या है, बाद में किसी ने समझाया. Some film actor's name, some footballer's name. मैंने कहा नाम के असर बच्चे पे होता है. The asar of the name falls on the child. People don't realize this. Your every action has a reaction. If you kept your child's name Muhammad, then to barakat of Muhammad Rasulullah, you know what barakat is, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It came in the hadith on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will say, Muhammad going to Jannat. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam going to Jannat. Everybody's name was Muhammad will get up and start going towards Jannat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, where are you going? They said, Jannat. Said, I said for my Nabi. They said, Ya Allah, but you said Muhammad. Said, okay, through the sadaqah of my Nabi's name, go in Jannat. Jao Jannat. It came in the hadith, if your son's name is Muhammad, that table, that dastarkhan on which a child by the name of Muhammad sits, there will be no barakati on that dastarkhan. Any mashwara, if there is a person by the name of Muhammad sitting there, is part of the mashwara, Allah will give barakat in the mashwara. Think about this. What problem do we have to keep your child's name Muhammad? What do you want to keep some film star's name for? This is what we learn from the Buddhists. This is what we learn from the awliya. Watch what you do. Every action has a reaction. What you do doesn't only harm you, it will harm your children, it will harm your generations to come. And what you do will benefit you and your generations to come. Allah give us strength in iman. True love for Rasul Pak sallallahu